start off, Missy Dubourg is going to explore. She has a speed of 5, so that means she can move up to 5 squares. She's immediately going to split off from the group and go upstairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I now draw room tiles until I find upper. Upper just happens to be the first tile on the top. And here we have the underground lake. You may have just had a moment there and said, wait a second, how is there an underground lake in the upper floor? Well, Avalon Hill was asked that same question, and they errated it, said if you found the underground lake in the upper floors, you immediately fell down into the basement level. Because there is an event icon on the underground lake, I must draw an event and resolve it. This one is called Creepy Crawlies. 1,000 bugs spill out in your skin, under your clothes, and on your hair. You must attempt a sanity roll. Missy has 3 sanity, same as I will be taking 3 dice. I have a result of 4. On the sanity roll, there is a chart of the different options that can happen. I got a 4, which means that I lose 1 sanity. Because I just resolved the card, that means my turn is over. It is then Professor Longfellow. Professor Longfellow is wondering what happened to Missy, and he's also going to run upstairs to see if he can find her. Professor Longfellow, I should note, has a speed of 4. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The first tile on the room deck is also an upper card, and this brings us to the bedroom. Note how, although Missy was in this room and fell down with the underground lake, I was able to draw another room here and place it here. This has been sort of justified that the house is mystical and haunted, so rooms don't necessarily have to follow consistency. Just in case you were wondering. In the bedroom, Professor Longfellow encounters an event. He was also drawn and resolve an event. He gets lights out. So Professor Longfellow keeps his card to note that he can only move 1 space each turn. And because he's resolved an event, it is now Ox's turn.
Oxbellows decides to investigate the ground floor, since no one else seems to want to. So he moves 1, 2, and I should note that his beginning speed is 4, so he could have moved more, but that's all spaces he wants to go. So now I have to draw tiles until I find a ground. The first one is basement, so that's discarded to the side. The next one does have the ground icon. He finds the abandoned room. Now this has an omen icon on it, meaning that I have to draw an omen card. He has drawn the skull. A skull cracked and missing teeth. If you take mental damage, you can take all of it as physical damage instead. Make a haunt roll now. Take 6 dice, and I roll them. I've gotten a 6. Since there is currently 1 omen card out, this is not low enough to make the haunt begin yet.
Professor Longfellow entered the charred room and has drawn the crystal ball. Hazy images appear in the glass. Once during your turn, after the haunt is revealed, you can attempt a knowledge check to peer into the crystal ball. And there are various options on how we can use that. We now make a haunt roll. There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 omens revealed. That means that a 6 or less must be revealed. We have a result of 5. The haunt is now revealed. Professor Longfellow found the crystal ball in the charred room. This brings us to haunt 23. The traitor is then the person on the left of the haunt revealer. This means that Oxbellows is now the traitor. He takes the traitor's tome secretly, while Professor Longfellow and Missy Dubourg discuss how they are going to survive.
Alright, so let's see what kind of pain I'm going to be bringing to Kenny. Wait a second. My explorer is dead? Nah!
Honestly, I just wanted to find the phone. I wasn't exactly subscribing to this tentacle horror thing. It's okay, it's okay. We just gotta get rid of the tentacle horror and we can find the phone. Wait, if we found the phone, we could actually talk to someone like the police department, the fire department, and actually do something about this, couldn't we? Maybe that should be our first priority. No, I think you're right. I think we should take out the tentacle horror first and then find the phone. That is the priority here. Wait, do we even know there is a phone? Why haven't we tried to get out again? Well, obviously, it's a haunted mansion. The door is magically shut.
So in this scenario, the traitor actually dies. So my figure has been removed from the board. I will instead be using monsters to try and eliminate the other players. In this case, I've set aside root and tip tokens. These are the roots and tips of tentacles that are going to try and grab the other players. And I can only put them in certain rooms, so I've done that here already. In addition, I have to use the turn tracker shown here. Each turn, the tentacles actually get stronger.
The survivors don't have very much information. They do know that they can use the crystal ball, which was the omen revealed to start this haunt, in order to find the head of this tentacled horror in order to destroy it. After that, they know how some special rules work as far as combat with the tentacles go, knowing that they can be grabbed and held down by them, but there's not much else that they know. All they know is that they can attack the head of the monster to destroy it. After the haunt has been revealed and the traitor has been determined, the traitor then loses their turn, and it then goes to the person on the traitor's left. So in this case, Missy DuBoard gets a chance to make an action. On Missy's turn, she understands that the spear is actually able to destroy the head of the monster, which is actually one of the random roots that have been assigned to these different rooms. However, she doesn't know which one is the head yet, so rather than rushing in and getting herself killed, she is actually going to continue running away. So she's going to explore this room here, basement top, and resolve this. She has actually run into a dead end. However, this gains her an item. She receives an axe. And that is the end of her turn. Professor Longfellow, knowing that there is a necessity to return to his ally, is going to move closer to her. He has a speed of 4 currently. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at the end of his movement, although he hasn't resolved any cards, he's going to use the crystal ball. 4 dice are chosen and rolled, and the result is 2. Referring to the chart, 2 means that the monster is located in the organ room. There's nothing else that he can do at this point, so he is going to pass it on to the traitor's turn.
So because the traitor has actually died here, I simply have to roll dice for the monsters. The monsters in this case start with a speed of 2. So I roll 2 dice with a result of 2. So in this case, each of the tips can move 2 squares. So I will move this one here and here. This one moves to here. And this one actually moves after Missy DuBoard. In this case, the tip attacks Missy. So I'm making a might attack, and the tentacle has a might of 3. So I roll 3 dice and get a result of 3.
Missy is attempting to resist this attack. She also has a might of 3, and she rolls a 3. Because they've received an even value, defender wins ties. So Missy is safe from the tip at this turn. So Betrayal at the House on the Hill is a fun game, and I enjoy it because I'm a little bit of a horror movie buff myself. This actually is one of the first non-standard board games I ever played, so it's actually got a little special place in my heart anyway. One thing I really enjoy about it is it's so simple to set up, and it's easy to take down again too. So it gets a lot of points in my book for that.
I also enjoy this game quite a bit. It's one of the first non-standard board games that I purchased, and I actually introduced it to Kenny. So, you know, it's got a special place in both of our hearts, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I enjoy it quite a bit as well.
I enjoy this game. I would have to say I would give it about 4.5 meeples out of 5.
And I would have to say 4 out of 5 meeples.
That's a total of 8.5 meeples. The only reason why it loses points on my end is just because a couple of the cards are a little easy to scratch, I guess. The character cards just kind of lose so much bits off the side there. And that's an easy fix to that, but it's one of those things that you figure is kind of going to be fixed up. Also, there was a couple little bugs with the game where you'd have the underground river show up in the attic. That was a little awkward. Also, it was really disappointing that no expansions were ever released for this. This is a perfect game for expansions. It's so great. And considering that they just recently put out a new revised edition of this, maybe we'll see a little bit of expansioning going on here, but I don't know, I don't want to get my hopes up yet.
I also found it a little bit disappointing due to lack of expansions. I find that this is a common occurrence with Avalon Hill. They're not so great about supporting their games after they're out. And beyond that, I just find that there is a lot of replayability, but after a point it just becomes more of the same. I just like a little bit more for my games, personally.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I find most interesting about this, though, is that to this day we are still popping out more of those, more of the icons for the haunts. You get a couple of times where you repeat the same haunts over and over again, but I know that personally, when every time I play this, or at least every other time I play this, we're popping out more of the token pieces to sort of make a new haunt. For that, it makes it interesting. But again, you do get to those points where you're just playing the same ones over and over again. That kind of gets a little boring. Well, that about wraps it up for Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Thank you for joining us once again, and we hope to see you next time.